Ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, and everyone in between, the NFL season is officially here. It is officially here, and your boy is super hyped up. All the problems go away. Had to reset right there. All problems go away. We already got college football going. Already some upsets with FSU. I don't know why that's relevant to this video. But the NFL season starts this week. It's officially week 1. Once you're seeing this, maybe the Chiefs and Ravens played, but this video is either going to be uploaded on Thursday or on Friday. But all that to say, your boy is a certified Tennessee Titans fan. Born and raised, bleed that two-tone blue. And today, right here, right now, you read the title, you saw the thumbnail, and appreciate you for clicking on. We're going to react to some record predictions, some by the means of 2, because I tried to look for a lot more, but most of them are like hour-long videos, and another one was the NFL's Tennessee Titans record predictions, and I didn't want to mess with the copyright on that one. Let's just see how people are predicting the Tennessee Titans to do this season. All right, so first up right here, we got ourselves Mr. Tom Grassi. Mr. Tom Grassi, I've been following for a while, and let's see how you talk about my Tennessee Titans.
Finally, you got the Tennessee Titans. The Titans. Yeah, Titans fans are just...
What's that yeah about? What's that yeah about? Yeah, what's that about? Tom, we're starting off on a bad note. I know I'm tone policing. I'll try to calm down.
Really tired of hearing that they're going to have a crappy team every year.
I'm sick and tired of scientists telling us mean, bad facts about our world in confusing ways.
And around the...
He's spitting facts. I'm fucking tired of it. I'm tired not only of everybody saying we're having a crappy team and me being snappy about it, I'm tired of having a crappy team. I'm going to be honest.
League right now, especially in sports media, a lot of folks are really down on the Titans. And it makes sense, right? Because you look at all these other teams in the AFC South, and you're just like, yeah, this looks like there's a lot of potential here. And then you have Will Levis, which besides an amazing cologne, again, you just haven't seen a ton out of, and I want to see more from Levis because what you saw from like that 4-touchdown game against the Falcons. However, that team was...
And the Dolphins game. Let's not forget the Dolphins game. Fourth quarter, he didn't play great most of the Dolphins game. But fourth quarter, that Dolphins game, tremendous poise, tremendous leadership, whatever. But I got to pick the point about... you see potential the rest of the team. You could say the same thing about Anthony Richardson. I like Anthony Richardson as much as I can as a Titans fan, right? But you can't say, oh yeah, no, the Colts team, maybe they're more talented than the Titans. There's an argument. But you can't say like, oh yeah, I didn't see the Colts prediction, so I guess I'm talking out of my ass right now from Tom Grassi. But I see this a lot with, oh man, the Colts are going to do this, this, and that. But when it comes to the Titans, you really need to see more. Why isn't that the same with Anthony Richardson? I'm just saying keep the same energy, but let's keep it pushing.
Really held back by a god-awful offensive line last year because it was abysmal. Looking at their stats, they were 27th in points per game scored, 17th in rushing offense, and 29th in passing offense. So pretty abysmal. Over on the defensive side of the ball, they were 16th in points allowed per game. They were the 13th best rushing defense and the 18th best passing defense. And their defense has never really been the problem. It's been about the offense. They went and got Hopkins this past offseason. They went and got Calvin Ridley. They, of course, lost Derrick Henry, who is now on the Baltimore Ravens. However, I'm really excited for Spears, and they even got Pollard there as well. They got...
See, this is what I know he's going to mention more players, but I see so many people who usually talk about the Titans that just don't mention the players, right? They just say, don't feel great about them, and they just mention some of the big names and then hop off and say like, oh yeah, they're going to be a dog shit team. At least Tommy right here, he's mentioning Tony Pollard. He's mentioning Tyjae Spears. That's Lloyd Cushenberry. I'm sure he's going to mention Lloyd Cushenberry. He's mentioning the guys we have. I appreciate that. Handshake, Tom Grassi. I appreciate that.
Got Cushenberry, they got Awuzie, and in the draft, they got J.C. Latham, and they also got Swift. So also building in the trenches. And
not only building in the trenches, building two monsters in the trenches. Now, J.C. didn't have a great preseason, but T'Vondre Sweat was a problem on that defensive line. Paired with Big Jeff, ooh.
I don't think that there's anybody who's saying that the Titans are in rebuild mode right now. They got rid of Mike Vrabel. I love the coaching staff that they brought in. And again, just the investment in the offensive line. I'm not completely sold that they're going to be an awful team.
Thank you. Thank you. You're giving me hope, Tom. You're giving me hope.
To be very clear, I don't think they're going to be making the playoffs. But I think the new coaching staff, and with Will Levis behind a better offensive line and maybe the explosiveness of Spears and maybe DeAndre Hopkins and Calvin Ridley, this team could be better than some people expect. I love the moves that they made in the offseason, and while I have their floor all the way down at 5-12,
5-12 is kind of a high floor. Let's hold on before we do anything else. Let's see the Tennessee Titans schedule fully. Or let me promote this little creator league that I have going on with a bunch of the TikTok guys. But let's go to a Titans player, Tajay. So you got Chicago, the Jets, Green Bay, Miami, by Indy, Buffalo, Detroit, New England, Chargers, Vikings, Texans, Commanders. 5-12 is kind of giving us the benefit of the doubt. I'm not gonna lie, y'all probably hear my full record prediction or how I think we're actually gonna do at the end of this video. But 5-12, that's generous. I appreciate Tom for doing it, but that's generous. I appreciate it though.
I have their ceiling all the way up at 9-8. Like I said, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs or win the division or anything. But for people that are saying they're definitely going to be one of the worst teams in football, like a bottom 3 team, I just find that a little hard to believe.
Thank you, Tom.
I know for Titans fans, they'll be like, oh, geez, thanks, Tom. You're giving us a few more wins. And
I don't think many Titans fans are going to be like that. Of course, the diehard win the Super Bowl every year. Everybody else in the AFC South sucks. Of course, those guys might be a little upset with the ceiling being 9-8. But for guys like me, normal Titans fans, I think a 9-8 season, or even like an 8-9 season, even like a 7-10 season, I think we'd be more than happy with that. I think we would think that the Titans are a lot further down the line than they probably should be. And that's due to Rand Carthon and maybe hiring the right coaching staff and Will Levis being the guy. But I think Tom's saying Titans fans would be mad about that. I don't think they'd be mad about that.
I get it, but the big thing here is figuring out if Will Levis is the guy. Because if he's not the guy, then you're going to need another quarterback in there to compete with the other quarterbacks in this division.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Titans, not really an exciting season I see from them, but could be a very competitive one and could also be the foundation on which they can build towards their future. So that is exciting. And for Titans fan sanity, I hope that's the case.
W video by Tom. Of course, you're about to see our next watch, Strong Opinion Sports, predicting the Titans record. But for Tom Grossi, I love that. It's a very fair way of looking at the Titans, a very reasonable way of looking at the Titans. As I said, I think the floor is a little generous. I think because the floor being like everything's going wrong, you know what I mean? I think that 5 wins is a bit generous, but I do appreciate the reasonable outlook on the Titans. And of course, you'll hear my record predictions at the end. But one thing I did want to touch on is that quarterback conversation. The AFC South is a very interesting place right now where in the next 3 years, you could have 4 of the top 10 quarterbacks in this league with Trevor Lawrence, CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson, and Will Levis. Of course, you're not going to listen to me about Will Levis, but Anthony Richardson definitely has the talent of being a Cam Newton level quarterback. And CJ Stroud has already shown he could be a top 5 quarterback. And Trevor Lawrence has shown that his floor is probably a less consistent Dak, which of course you don't want. But Dak has always been a borderline top 10 guy. I know a lot of people argue with me on that. But 4 of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league could be that. Very interesting. So next we have Strong Opinion Sports, old Zach Schaumler. And I forget this cat's name. I think he's new. I haven't listened to this podcast in a little bit, but it was one of my favorite sports podcasts for a while. So let's see what they have to say about the Tennessee Titans this season.
I have the Texans going 4
Titans.
and 13. Oh, Tennessee.
I know I said that the floor being 5 and 12 was generous. I know I said that. But outright saying the Titans are absolutely going 4 and 13 is ridiculous. Let's see what the co-host says.
So yeah, Tennessee Titans 4 and 13. Their wins: New England, Washington, Jacksonville, and actually a game at Indy. I've got them winning. Not a lot.
Yeah.
It takes a while. They don't win till week 9 against the Patriots. They start 0.
Start 0 and 8. 0 and 8. 0 and 8. I mean, I could see it definitely, but honestly, and again, this is something Zach Schomler goes on a couple times in this podcast of like weird stuff happens, yada yada yada. At Buffalo, we always go back and forth with Buffalo. It's always year after year, us or Buffalo wins that game. Detroit, yeah, you could chalk up to a loss. We won last year in Miami, so yeah, I won't give the Miami game to us. I'm giving us at Chicago. We haven't lost a game opener, and this is getting into my record stuff, but we haven't lost a game opener or a season opener or we haven't won one in like 3 seasons. Cardinals, Giants, and Saints. Haven't won one in 3 seasons. It's due for that. And you got a rookie quarterback with his first start. I don't see us losing to Chicago. And when it comes to the Jets or Green Bay, both of them are at home. I don't see us losing both of those, right? Jets with their health. Green Bay, both of them are a maybe. I don't think you can fully say we're going to start off 0 and 8. I think it would be generous to say we come out with a positive record, but I think 2 to 3 of these games we can win, especially if Anthony Richardson is not healthy for week 6 at Indy. Plus, we're coming off a bye.
0 and 8.
Yeah.
Dude, their schedule is actually brutal early on. Chicago, Jets, Packers.
Quit throwing Chicago in there like they're a bona fide like.
Well, they're going to annihilate Tennessee.
team.
Week
Annihilate? I could see us getting the loss. What are you talking about?
1. Am I wrong? I mean, look, dude, they're way better than Tennessee. Can we at least acknowledge that?
They are.
So,
They are.
Titans.
No. Right now, Chicago has the foundation to be a really good team, right? A really good team. But saying they are way better than Tennessee currently is a big, big leap of faith. It's a big leap of faith. Again, I'm a Titans fan. You can get the bias, but that's a big leap of faith to say they are so much more talented than the Titans are right now.
Titans start Chicago, Jets, Packers, Dolphins, Colts, Bills, Detroit. That's a really awful way to start a year with a new coach. I feel bad
That's
for
hard.
Brian Callahan, honestly, the new head coach of the Titans.
It is.
They were
I
6 and
agree.
11 last
the schedule's
year.
rough.
You got a rookie left tackle, J.C. Latham. I think they're better. Like, you look at the receiving core, Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins, Tyler Boyd. Like, it's an improvement. I don't know if their run game's going to improve. I think the defense is solid. It's really just all going to hinge on Will Levis. It's the whole entire year is about him developing. And, they're rebuilding as a franchise. It literally all comes down to him. And I don't think he's going to do it early on. I think it's going to take a while, if at all. 4 and 13 feels really comfortable to me. What do you say?
I had 2 and 15, so you're
What? 2 and 15? 2? That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Who does he have us winning against? Hold up.
a little bit kinder than I am. You're right. That first win does come in New England. I think maybe they catch Minnesota lacking.
So Minnesota.
New England and Minnesota, which I'll agree because we have both of them at home. They're not great teams. Rookie quarterback, Sam Darnold, or whoever's going to be starting if he's playing bad enough. But we're beating Jacksonville. We might sweep Jacksonville. We did it last year. We did it last year when they were trying to get a playoff spot. I think we split with Houston and split with. There's no, we're not going 2-15. No.
Had to win a game somewhere too, like
You know what I'm saying? But I don't see wins anywhere else. And if I were to give them a win, maybe it's the Chargers or maybe it's the Colts. Two teams
I'll mention the Chargers when I'm making my predictions.
that are working through some things. Colts with a new quarterback, and not new quarterback, but a developing quarterback in Anthony Richardson, and the Chargers having a complete overhaul. It does all depend on Will Levis. To me, again, the biggest thing for a quarterback is accuracy. And he was not accurate in college. He's not accurate and didn't display accuracy in the NFL. And unless
consistently, that big word, didn't display it consistently. I'm with you, right? I believe in Will Levis. I think very highly of Will Levis. But I agree. There's developmental things that have to happen. And the consistency when it comes to his accuracy. Not accuracy, period. Consistency.
unless that changes, yes, Ridley can be open. Yes, D-Hop can be open. Yes, Tyler Boyd can be open. But can you get the ball to him? And that's going to be the big question. And then can they catch it? Calvin Ridley had an issue with drops last year. He was dropping the football left and right, free touchdowns.
Still had over 1,000 yards. And I believe double-digit touchdowns. Could be wrong about that.
Tyler Boyd and D-Hop are definitely sure-handed, but neither of those guys to me scream separation. So now that separation's smaller. The window is smaller to throw to already in the NFL, and you're going to ask Will Levis to try and put it in there. And, for his sake, I hope that there's the development. I don't think he got a fair look last year again because the team wasn't great. We knew Vrabel was out the door. So hopefully we see something, but the rest of the team's just not very good defensively or offensively, in my opinion. And so that's why I don't see a lot of wins.
I want to frame it this way. The defense is okay. Good, not great, like kind of average, mediocre, but like
How so?
15th, 16th in the NFL, something like that, middle of the pack. So they're not terrible. Let's be very clear about that.
How so?
And then I think I want to really give credit to Tennessee. Like they did really I think the best they could have possibly done to support their young quarterback. Brought an offensive coach, Brian Callahan, who worked really well with Jake Browning last year at Cincinnati. Like they did well with Jake Browning as a backup quarterback in Cincinnati.
Accurate AF.
Yeah, but I think what's missing here is the talent. Like Will Levis is, say what you want, like really talented. He can run, he can throw, he runs people over. He's physical. He's got a cannon for an arm.
To a detriment. I know everybody was freaking out. I think it was the Dolphins game where he jumped for a first down and got spun in the air. I hated it. I hate it. Please stop doing that. Please stop doing that. I know Josh Allen gets away with it. Cam Newton got away with it for a while, but that scares me. I hate that.
What does that matter? I don't know, but my point is he's talented, and if you can mold him with good coaching, like that dog will hunt. They also look, it's not a great situation, but they brought in a left tackle, J.C. Latham, so they drafted to support him. They brought in Calvin Ridley, Tyler Boyd, DeAndre Hopkins.
Is he going to mention the rest of the additions on the offensive line, or does he only know of J.C. Latham? I know Zach does his research. Well, he used to. Now he has like a full-time job, so he can't really do that much research. But the only offensive lineman he's mentioned is J.C. Latham. I just find that a little interesting.
DeAndre Hopkins, I think it was already there. But my point is, they're supporting him as best they possibly could, given the situation they were in. I don't think they could have done much more to try to give him a healthy environment. Like, you look at what C.J. Stroud had last year in Carolina, it's not even close to how much better Will Levis has. What I'm trying to say is this. They did what they could, and it's certainly a serviceable opportunity. So it's a fair shot. Meaning, if Will Levis is bad this year, no one can say they didn't support him. No one can say, the wrong coach, no good receiver, no left tackle. No, they drafted to support him. They put receivers around him. They got an offensive head coach. They really tried. And if they move on from...
Well, how much? Because first-year head coaches usually struggle a little bit. We've seen, D'Amico Ryans last year. Mike Vrabel did pretty decent his first season. Matt LaFleur in Green Bay did pretty good his first season. We've seen coaches do pretty good in their first season, but also the pretty much the baseline is a first-year head coach isn't going to do that great. Now, I have agreed that the Titans have positioned Will Levis to have a good season and just at least better than he had last season. And if he doesn't do great, the majority of it is on him. But you also got to remember, first-year head coach.
From him, it's because he had an opportunity and didn't make the most of it. But it's a really good opportunity to evaluate Will Levis, which I love. It really is. Yeah. And I think he actually has some talent. The question is, can he hone that talent and be coachable? But it's interesting, like a fun case study almost on like when you support a young quarterback and give him a good situation, how does they respond? We'll see.
Yep. If they can't beat Minnesota week 11 and he's still the starter, then forget about it.
Yeah. Who's our backup? I'm trying to remember.
Mason Rudolph. Rudolph, the red-nosed quarterback.
Backup quarterback in
Mason
Tennessee.
Rudolph. Woof.
Yeah.
Mason Rudolph can win you games. Don't hate on Mason too much.
Man.
Woof.
I think they almost give Will Levis 2 years, really, because the draft isn't great. And I think I just think they're going to give him 2 more years. Honestly, he's on a rookie contract. He's cheap. There's not going to be a better option.
I feel like I'm not trying to question. I'm not trying to question his knowledge on the Titans. And I realize you can't be an expert on every team you talk about. But if you want to go this in depth with like 4 hours predicting every single team, I kind of expect you. You can't just say like, oh yeah, the draft was bad and yeah, they're just going to give him 2 more years, right?
Option in free agency unless you want Derek Carr. Like, you know what I mean? I don't think I think it's a longer lease than we realize just given the draft next year in Tennessee. I think he's going to get.
Okay. Hold on. Okay. Backtrack. He's talking about the situation next year with the draft at quarterback and yada, 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 yada. Yeah, because unless you don't have a high pick, or unless you have a high pick, like you might have a shot at Cam Ward, but Carson Beck's probably going to be gone. Shadur's probably going to be gone. Unless you want to take a chance on like Jackson Dart if he comes out.
Get 2 more years really to see what he can do, and then if in 2 years it's not working, you can draft someone serviceable to replace him. But I really think, given the availability of the draft, Will Levis gets this year and next year probably.
That's fair.
The Jaguars.
Okay, so one thing I'm going to point out, something I pointed out on Tom Grassi's video, I don't like, and again, I know Zach Schaumler, I don't know the co-host, so I can't really talk to the co-host, but he has a full-time job outside of podcasting now, so he can't do a lot of research. But if you're just going to name drop Levis, the receiving core, and 1 offensive lineman, and then say, like, yeah, the defense might, like, okay, but not name anybody on the defense, it makes me question how much you know, right? And I know that's bit me in the back a couple times, but the defense has been massively upgraded, especially in the DB room. Now, the safety position is a revolving door since KB left. Probably going to stay that way for a while. I don't really know if Jamal Adams or Quandre Diggs is the answer, but I love Amani Hooker. We got Chidobe Awuzie. We got L'Jarius Sneed. Roger McCreary as a very good slot. Like, we have guys that is made this DB room so much better than it was last year. So much better. And we dodged Arden Key getting suspended. Harold Landry is coming back. We have Big Jeff and T'Vondre Sweat in the middle of the field. The only real hole on that defense, and I'm not saying it's going to be the best defense in the league. I think it's going to be close to top 10. I don't think it's going to be the best defense in the league, top 5 defense in the league. But the only real hole is that linebacker. We don't really have linebackers that can cover, and for this league, you kind of need that. So I think the defense will be improved. I don't think it'll be the best, but it was middle of the pack last year and improved. It's going to be around the 11, 12, 13 range. I won't put them in the top 10. I won't put them in the top 5. I won't put them, but they're better than just, okay, but you can't name a player on the defense. Might be a little salty from saying the Titans are going to go 4-13 and 2-15, but that's all I'm saying. And in terms of the offense, they're spot on. It's really all about if Will Levis can develop, and he's been put in the best position. But I will say, not mentioning the Lloyd Cushenberry pickup, not mentioning Peter Skronce coming into his second year, not mentioning that, and not mentioning the upgrades that those upgrades they put on the offensive line to make the offensive line much better than it was last year, and saying like, oh yeah, the run game's going to be worse. Like, yeah, we lost Derrick Henry, but Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears are two very capable running backs, especially Tajay Spears. I think is still a little irresponsible. But of course they mentioned the receiving core because everybody knows the receiving core. The offense is really based on how good Will Levis is going to be. And me personally, I think he can be very good. Now, my official record prediction, starting off with week 1, I think we go into Chicago and win. I said it when I was watching that, saying that Chicago is way better and they're going to storm through Tennessee like they're nothing is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Chicago's a young team. They have a good defense, and that offense should be good, but I think it's going to take a little bit to click because you got a rookie quarterback and a couple of rookie pieces, and that offensive line, while decent, still not great, and you have a good defensive line, not a deep defensive line, but a good defensive line to pair up to go against. I think it's close, but I think Tennessee pulls it out. Now, New York at home, it's rough. It's rough. It's rough. Of course, you got Aaron Rodgers coming back, probably look for a revenge season, but how good is he going to look? I'm going to give it. I'm going to say we're going to start off 2-0, but then we're going to lose the next two. We're going to lose to Green Bay. We're going to lose at Miami, and then we're going to go into the bye. So right now we're 2-2. Now, Indy at home, I think we get it. I don't think we beat Indianapolis on the road, but that's 3-2, and then we'll lose the next two at Buffalo, at Detroit. So that's 3-4, and then we'll beat New England 4-4, and then at LA. At LA, as I said, we go back and forth. We beat them in overtime last year. They'll probably be looking for a little rebound, but how good is that team going to be clicking? I'll say we lose. So that's 4-5. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. 4-5. 4-5. Yeah, 4-5. Minnesota, I think we win. That's 5-5. At Houston, we lose. That is 5-6. Yeah, 5-6. I'm trying to keep this in my head. I'm not good at it. At Washington, I think we win. So that's 6-6. Jacksonville at home, I think we win. 7-6. We lose to Cincinnati, so 7-7. At Indy, we lose. 7-8. At Jacksonville, we win. 8-8, and then Houston at home, I think we lose. I think we get swept by Houston. So 8-9. That is my official Tennessee Titans record predictions. Let me know what you thought of this, and let me know what you think the Titans are going to do, whether you're a hater, whether you're a non-biased fan, whether you're a Titans fan. Let me know what we're going to do. Red Light Homies comes out every Monday. Go check it out. We just did In Space, just recorded a video an hour ago. So go check that out. I much appreciate it, and y'all take care.